Hi guys, this week we are going to have a chat with Derrik. He's a film director and co-founder of Graph Studio. We figured, hey, let's invite someone who's in the same industry as us and have been making waves in the local commercial scene, apart from the usual big names out there. And we hope that this session will inspire you in some ways. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Small Talk, Big Ideas. This second episode, we have Derrik from Graph Studio.
Hey.
So Derrik,
Hello.
maybe you wanna introduce yourself. Who are you?
Okay, I'm Derrik. I'm a co-founder and also a film director from Graph Studio. It's a tiny little production house located in Malaysia. I'm not sure if
That's
you.
really amazing things.
Okay lah. We do commercials mainly, like 99%, and then 1% of nonsense.
Yes.
So
That's
if you've
the
seen
person
around the
we-
web, they've recently done this video called Corona Mu. It's by their own effort. It's in support for what again? Kechara.
Soup kitchen.
There's 3 soup kitchens. So Pertiwi soup kitchen, Kechara soup kitchen, and also Dapur Jalanan. So throughout the MCO, the demand for people going to soup kitchen to get meals are kind of increased tremendously. And so we figure that a lot of people I've been hearing that they've been donating to Frontliner, so very little coverage for soup kitchens who has been doing their jobs since forever, like every single day, pandemic or no pandemic, they have been supporting all the needy who needs meal. So, but it's just that during this pandemic, suddenly the demand increased tremendously, but not enough coverage for them. So I figured I could do something that I can get all these friends together and, try to create some PR around them so that people, are aware of what they're doing. So apart from this Corona Move video, I think after this also we'll be releasing a little bit more follow-up videos and really show what they do throughout this MCO lah.
Kechara is one of the soup kitchens that we did something with Kechara as well for like Christmas, maybe almost 5 years ago.
5 years,
Apparently.
okay.
We went on the streets to ask people like what they want for Christmas. Do you remember that project?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so we know the Pertiwi Kechara, Pertiwi kitchens.
Yep.
But yeah, guys, if anyone is listening to this and you want to fund anything that is like not only frontliners, please go help these guys who are really helping the homeless. Because the frontliners, yes, they do need help, but I think the homeless literally have no other means of anything, right? Because no one is walking around and giving them sedekah anymore. So happy New Year to that. Thanks for joining us today, Derrik.
You're welcome, man. It's a pleasure.
So like for those who doesn't know what you do, like people know you from Graph Studio, but what do you do exactly in Graph Studio?
Your role.
My role.
Paint a picture of like day-to-day responsibilities.
Besides taking a baby, let's not talk about that.
I don't know what's the impression of people towards film director, like pointing fingers. Okay, you do that.
Pretty much like that.
Pretty much like that. No lah, but to be serious, my day to day, I think 60 to 70% of my what I need to do is treatment. A lot of writing, a lot of brainstorming, a lot of ideation. Sometimes, because my team is not very big, so sometimes I have to do it on my own. But most of the time nowadays, as the team grows, I try to involve my team a little bit more, and a lot of brainstorming with them. Even though I'm the director, but I also take in a lot of input from everyone from my team. So to come up with treatment, how do we do? Usually, my role is I don't really have to write script like y'all. So because you guys are more like you guys create your own original content most of the time, right? You guys have to come up with the insight. You guys got to write script. You guys got to do everything from the scratch. So from a production house point of view, most of the time, as I say, 99% of my clients are all advertising agency. So we do commercials 99% most of the time. So advertising agency usually do the basic already, the ideation, the big idea. They come up with a base script. So that usually supports the brand's direction, supports the brand's what do you call that? Their
campaign,
their campaign and whatnot, their message, right? So that because they understand the brand a lot more than us, so we're gonna leave that to them. So
I mean,
what
that's the assumption. We
that's the
assume
assumption.
that they understand the brand. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to give them the respect lah, because they work for the client day in, day out, right?
That's the best answer. Correct.
I don't spend 24/7 with the client, unlike they do.
Mm.
So I assume that they already know whatever the client briefed them. So what my task as a film director from a production house is I take the script and I see how I can make sense out of the storytelling.
Mm.
I apply the some of the rules, like, you gotta have a beginning, middle, and end. You gotta have all the plots. You know that 22 rules from Disney that always works.
Beats me. Okay.
Yeah, so I apply that to their idea, and of course add continuity to the scene, because sometimes when they come up with an idea, scene 1 and scene 2 doesn't link at all. Like, how do we get from scene 1 to scene 2 and so on and so forth? So from a film director, I fix all those things. I come up with my own storyboard. So usually they come up with a scene, they don't really delve into, we're gonna have like a close-up shot of this, close-up shot of that, So I fix all those, come up with a final storyboard, and then that's when we work together with the agency, and then I go on to direct the film on set, work with the talent like a usual director would do, and then I make all the decision, for example, from the color of the cushion, the camera that where the final angle will fix. Yeah, although as a film director, I have a lot of people to help me. So slightly different from a lot of smaller content creator where they one leg kick, they do everything. So from a production point of view, my job scope is pretty much just making decision. So the art director would suggest that in this scene, let's do this kind of setup. Let's have this kind of chair and whatnot. I would make a decision like, yes, because it fits my character.
Right.
Because as I say, I wrote treatment. So in the treatment, I have things like, my character, what is her hobby, what is her interest and whatnot, what's her personality. All these things are not in the agency script, but I have to write it. Why? So that other people will know that, okay, because she likes, for example, her personality, she likes photography. So in her setup, in the commercial, there's Polaroids, there is like...
Should be something like that lah.
There will be something like that related to the personality where, the agency never wrote it clear, specifically what to put on the rack. So that's my job. Write in the treatment, and then the art director read the treatment, and then he will propose according to my treatment.
Right. Actually, it's nice to hear you lay it out like that, because this also links to the next question we're going to asking you, right? I never actually know what I was quote unquote supposed to be doing, right? Because like you said,
director.
Because like we came in a very weird, like this is the industry angle, right? Then suddenly got some people come in at this angle and that's us. So like it was a very different thing, because I think number one, the earlier days saw like teams like ourselves not have any kind of credibility or respect from industries, right? So it was a very hard time to decide like, hey, actually you asked us to work with you, what are we supposed to do? Because it seems like you're telling us to do everything, So like, it's always been that. But actually, okay, now that you say it, like, oh, okay, now that makes a lot of sense. Because the clients that actually have the best jobs with us are those who actually work like that, like what you say lah. Because, for a very long time, we didn't know, like for example, some agencies have creatives as well. I'm going to put the big word there, creatives, right? Because sometimes the marketing people also become creative, So we never really know where that boundary lies to say that, okay, this is actually my role, I should be doing it, But hearing you say that now, okay, now that gives me a little bit more like, all you agencies out there who tell me to do this kind of thing, I'm coming for you after this, okay?
Yeah. So basically, you kind of like, it's a collaboration effort lah. You're gonna help the agency to enhance their base idea, because all they did was a lot of it. I'm sure you receive some script are very generic. This scene, what they do, and why do they do it? Because of at the end, the end message is like this.
Yeah.
So all this little thing like how old is this fella? What is her or his or her personality? I even up to an extent, depending on certain job, I even put in background like she's adopted. She comes from this background and whatnot. All this information will help my location manager. So I set out the personality already of the character. My location manager will find places that, I think this girl will stay at this house. The location manager will give me a tons of options. Then I decide. Then of course, as I say, my director of photography will make decision based on my treatment. Because in my treatment, I would say that there are certain references, film that I reference. You know, maybe I want to reference Wes Anderson. Maybe I want to reference that Christopher Nolan or whatnot. And then my DP will suggest, okay, use this camera, use this lens. This is what it looks like. Then as a director, I make the decision. Yes, let's go with this.
Maybe Brian, I will segue to the next question for that.
Yeah, cool.
I think so. For what you say, I think the big factor for us is why I think as our team, right? The biggest difference is a very big element of fear, because you know, as small kids, when we go and meet all these brands and agencies, right, we always felt like, wow, shit, we don't know what we are doing, so anything goes. That means these guys take the liberty to, like, you know, we never had that ability to, like you say lah, we look at the script, right, then we see something wrong, but when we tell them it's something wrong, right, wow, they are like, I know what you mean there's something wrong, you know how many years you've been doing this already. So there's been a very gray boundary, because number one, we don't have a background, right? And that's the next question for you, like, what were you doing before this, you know? Was it like, what were your beginnings, you know, quote unquote, the early beginnings like?
Actually, I'm like a little hybrid between you guys and also the traditional film director.
Yes,
because
that's the first thing I felt when I saw your studio appear. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
So the reason is, okay, the traditional route to become a film director is a lot out there. If you ask any film director out there, they start from PA. They do PA, or they become like a assistant producer, and then you know, on set crew or whatsoever, assistant camera, whatever, like the lowest rank of in a big set. And then they work their way out, and then probably like, I don't know, like 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you know, assistant director, and then continue to do that, and then they become a film director. That's when you ask, oh, so what's your background? Then, oh, right, I have 10 years of being on set, that's my background. So those are the traditional directors.
Yeah.
And then for me, slightly different is because I started off in advertising agency. Way back, I actually studied mass comm and nothing to do with film. So I ended up working in as a suit. I'm not even doing creative. I was mainly handling client.
Wow.
So I work in an advertising agency, but I don't know, something just fell wrong. I don't like being a suit after all. So after that, I decided to, you know what? I'm just gonna take up another internship at, you know, this place called Channel V. It's like an MTV, but it's Channel V.
So familiar, that one. I mean,
very long time ago,
right? It's quite some time ago, right?
It's extinct already, So basically, I went to intern, and then, you know, I fell in love with the process of it. Then I continued my study. I actually studied film after that. After I really start working, and you know what? I'm gonna pause working and I'm just gonna continue learning. And when I come back, first thing, you know what? I learned film already. I want to be a film director. Where should I go? Astro.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's when I go Astro, I realized that, you know what, it doesn't really suit me also, because again, my core passion is still advertising. Short, simple content that have a message, and not really so much on, you know, drama and shows, TV shows and whatnot.
Long form stuff.
So ended up, I go back to advertising and I work as a graphic designer.
Wow, you really everywhere, so you go.
Because you learn everything during school, so you can do somewhat. So that's when you know, I was back in the advertising agency, and then there are a lot of friends who is also around that age. And at one point they started, hey, I remember you know how to make video. One of my advertising agency friends. Like, hey, you know how to make video one, right? Yeah. Hey, can you help me shoot this and edit this? For very simple for this client. So back then, that's when that moment when people start doing all this small, simple online video. Where while the bigger production house are still doing all these 30-second TVC spots. And then there's this advertising agency who started to want to focus on digital. At that time, you guys also, I think YouTube in the US just started blooming, and it's like
wow, so long ago.
Yeah, you know, around when the Wong Fu started, I think that's like
2000s, the 2000s, early 2000s.
And that's when they realized that, you know what, I think this small agency want to make online video. That's when I, took up my DSLR and helped them shoot. As a freelance only, I was still working in advertising agency.
Which
And
agency,
then one
agency
job
was it?
after another job, I realized this is kind of rewarding financially. So sooner or later, up to a point where I realized that some of the help that this agency now needs my help, I cannot do it alone anymore.
Right.
So that's when I seek up my now current partner in Graph Studio. They're like, hey, you want to help me support this? I need another 2 more cameras who shoot this thing. Do you mind, helping out? So that's when we all started to, slowly one job after another job after another. There was no brand plan. There was no, okay, you know what, let's do a business. No, it's just like the fella asks for help. I say yes, I help on weekends or after work. And I edit myself. There was no post-production house. There was no nothing. So if you can see, that process is very similar to you guys. That one person trying to come up with a script, do everything, no people, the prop is you, the DP is you, the editor is you, the director is you. So you do everything on your own. But the only difference is I understand advertising because I somewhat have like a 4 or 5 years already in advertising at that point of time. So it's very different. So I think like an advertiser, I think like the agency creatives when I shoot for them. So I don't never think from a filmmaker point of view. Really just advertising, but because I have the skill set to shoot and edit, I can help them make. So those little bit size of content somewhat works for them because it sells product, it creates sales, it drives their Facebook likes up. It was effective. That's why the business keep coming, but very small size, very small bit. It's a little bit like what you guys are doing. Maybe sometimes, so simple like those 6-second, 10-second, 15-second things that you don't really have to think about it. You just take out your phone and then you do it with your phone, those kind. But the demand was started since back then, like the early 2010s, 2011, at that point in time. So eventually reached to a point where suddenly that one big job, always like we any kind of creative industry or music, you say, there's always that one big hit, that big break. So that was Kuching Happy.
I remember
the
that.
BSN one.
Yes, the BSN one. So at that point of time, the whole Kuching Happy, I think there was altogether like 4 or 5 people on set. So we shoot everything in our current office where it was really small, and we just shoot with the cat. Ended up shooting like 5 or 6, 7 days. We never really bother about now if you ask people to shoot for 7 days, wow, very expensive. No, back then was like, I want to get this job done. Spend 7 days just to shoot the cat. And that was the big break. So that's the one job that kind of introduced us to the advertising agencies, the rest of the agencies. And at that point, like I say, I was a little bit hybrid between you guys and also the traditional production house. Because from that onwards, some of my partner have an actual production background.
And it helps a lot.
So that's when we started to, doing things a little bit more proper up to a point right now where it's somewhat like the traditional production house, but we still try to keep some of the essence of how we usually do things, which is we try to keep everything as internal as possible. If it's only when we want the quality and we know that this guy can enhance the work, we will get them to do it. Other than that, it's we try to keep everything as internal as possible. So that's the humble beginning. Like you said, I think it was a lucky break with the Kuching Happy. There was no indication whatsoever that thing will blow up or it will be a success. It's just you know what, let's do it because it's fun.
Right. That was the one with Elizabeth Tan also, right?
With Elizabeth Tan, yes.
Yeah.
That helped a lot. That episode helped a lot. That episode that was the one that went viral until we have to take it. We have to take it down from the internet for some controversial issues.
Yeah. I remember that as well. Yeah.
So that helped a lot.
How many co-founders are there?
There were like most businesses, it started with 5 and then it dropped out, and now it's 4.
Now it's 4 lah.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
what
it's
are
4.
their like respective roles?
Respective roles. So I have a producer, executive producer lah, because he's the boss man. So that is the guy who helped me out in the beginning, because he was a photographer,
Mm.
a very traditional photographer who does things traditionally for the advertising agency. So that production background helps. So he's a photographer, but now he turns full-time producer for me, because again the demand for photography kind of dropped throughout the years. And then there is a business development guy. So this guy handles all our admin accounts, the operational side of things. Your taxes, your spendings and whatnot, your costs, and And then I have one more is he's a DP. So he is a film DOP who have about 30, close to 30 years experience. So when he started the film industry, right, I was just like 1 year old. So he started in the 80s.
How do you guys meet then?
Yeah.
How do you guys meet?
Oh, we met at a diving outing. We went diving, and we were like, hey, hi, and then let's do it together. So that guy, that he helped a lot because he has been in the movie, drama, music video scene for over 20 over years. We call him Namko lah, because he's like the most senior guy. And his wife also was a professional stylist, so image consultant, and not just like makeup artist and whatnot. She do special effect makeup. She is a image consultant for production.
Image consultant.
Yeah, so she do special effect makeup. She do wardrobe, she do makeup, she do hair and everything lah. So she also have about 20 because they met on set lah. So they also 20 over year experience within the industry. So she helped a lot in the early days as well. So that's where when the right partner comes together, I guess that's when things really takes off lah. So everybody have their respective role, and everybody do things slightly differently. It's just like, how can I meet the traditional way of doing things with what I think can save money? Because some of the traditional way costs a lot of money. Then from a, again, hybrid YouTuber kind of film riot, all this film riot and corridor digital technique, you know what? I tell him that I think we can do it this way cheaply, and we do it, and then we do it. So when the right partner, the right mindset, and he was open up to change, come together, I think things works really well since.
I think that's what happened. Like, that's where we've seen our work get amplified also, when we find someone who is very familiar with the old structure, like very experienced, but is very sick of it. And then they want to do a change. And then they meet people like us, and then we don't have any structure, no protocol, but the content comes out, it's looking the same at like maybe 10 times faster or like 10 times less the price. And they ask like, how in the world do you make this? Like that. Then we share like simple things. Maybe this is the most general one, right? Lights. Some people need 20 something light to do a scene, and then we barely use any. Then it's just, it's just how you get around it. But I think that's just quite interesting to know. I think there is definitely similarities in terms of where I think production now is heading, especially now with even more conditions to shoot and everything, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It does look like it will favor smaller, more. The term is Hong Kong crew, right? Hong Kong crew. For people who don't know what Hong Kong crew mean, is basically the bearers of the bearers team. Like, as much as you can
guerrilla,
cut down,
the guerrilla force,
run and gun kind of shoot,
But the thing is, I've always liked like what you say, the Hong Kong crew, the small crew. But in recent days, when I have a taste of
the big one, right?
The big ones, where you get like 30 likes just to shoot one foot, and then you look at the difference, and and then I ask, the epiphany, the wow moment comes from when I send it to the color grader. Setio, right?
So, everyone knows Setio,
right? And I asked him, hey, why, previously when I did that, doesn't come out this way. Same camera.
Yeah.
Right?
he will say, because you're light.
Yeah, you're like lah, you know lah, how many lights are you pointing
Yeah.
at? So those kind of things. So when you have a taste of those already, right, and then you realize that,
Yeah.
I rather tell the client, if you want your things to look great, I
Yeah.
know you have expectation. All right, let's put it in the code.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
if you tick this off in the code,
It's not going
you
to
can get this. You know,
Yeah, but more often than not, it's very hard to explain to a client why they need 6 more lights. Right? It's like you said, because like I mean, maybe this is like a topic for another day lah. There is that dilemma between keeping it simple but getting better at your craft.
yeah,
And to get better at your craft, you need to put so many more things in,
yeah,
which will not make it simple anymore.
yeah.
But yeah, and then explaining that to the agency, they're like, hey, why you can take camera, I can take camera, we can shoot the same thing, ma. Won't it come out the same? And it's
So
just,
that's where I think we probably lead to your next question. The strategy part is,
yeah,
I have for a good after Kuching Happy, like post Kuching Happy, for a good 2 years, we were still doing things like how we do with Kuching Happy. And then that one moment where I had that small taste, right? And that's when the strategy kicks into my head, where I expand my team.
Right.
So when I expand my team, I can still charge the way it was, where it's on a more affordable side, right? Less people. I can still involve, but with a much junior team. All right. So So I probably don't use my Namco and whatnot. A much more junior team. Most of them are fresh grad or freelancer who are fresh grad.
I mean, it's very easier said than done, huh? You need to actually find these people first, That's the. That is the thing.
I was very lucky because again another new in not founder, but another new in partner, Jawaga. I'm sure you know him. So
he's part of partner.
How to say? Because it's like because when things grow, right? So right now we actually had a subdivision which is entirely post-production skewed.
Yep.
And again, to make someone, I think this is also another part of another strategy on how to make your team happy and how to make them feel belong is to have ownership.
Yeah.
So I realized because for the good post Kuching Happy, right after Kuching Happy, demand increased, we increased staffing, everything like how most startup would be, and then people leave. So people leave, and I hire new people, and then people leave like, where is it? It's very hard to find, right? So up to a point where I realized that, I need to start make them feel really belong to Graph. So they have to feel ownership.
Yeah.
So instead of make things complicated with contract and whatnot, let's start a new company that is 100% post production skewed, and to have him part of that, and then he will feel proud and to have that ownership.
I think Brian definitely has considered stuff like this as well. But I think we considered it at a point where our team was bridging into 15 to 20 people. So it was a bit tricky,
You can have like 20 companies.
Yeah, so there was
It'll be like mini Google.
Yeah, I mean,
how big is Graph anyway?
Yeah.
Now.
We had about 10 now. 8 count only.
Including partners lah.
Including the 4 partners, yes.
Right.
And then so when you start to build another team, there's a more junior team. That's when I can exercise that if I were to really do things this way, so this is another package. So if you want to do things a little bit more affordable, but yet still have our touch, the core team punya touch, the flair to it, you can still do it. But it's just that we give opportunity to a more junior crew lah. So I think that always works with our client. They understand, they know the expectation. But they still want to see, okay, what has your B team does before? So that's where I show them work. But how do they get the work in the first place? We do passion stuff. So all the 1% nonsense that you see, all this, the biru, the Barbie, the Jolo and all this was done by like Team B.
How frequently do you guys get the chance to do passion stuff? Because you guys, like you said, you're 99% servicing agencies, right?
The chances are getting lower and lower.
Mm.
So for me personally, that's why the last 2 or 3 passion idea that we have, right? I'm not the director. I'm just like a producer or executive producer, not as much as I want to. But this is like an open, 365 days open brief for the entire team. Anyone have any idea? Pitch it up. If it's good, we fund it. So that's the idea where we tell the whole team to keep writing, keep coming up with stupid ideas, keep doing things that is not client related, right? We'll pick and choose what we want to fund.
I guess that's a similar problem issue where we kind of face as well, where agencies or client usually want people like Ming Han to, let's say, be very much involved in a project. And I guess the way how you approach it is getting your junior team to do more passion projects. And what else do you do?
Also, another strategy now I'm in post is co-directing. So that works really, really well. So recently, I have a new recruit. His name is Chan. So he's that Kancho 666 winner. So as part of the prize, I don't know if it's a prize or...
Yeah.
I don't think it's a prize. He had to go for us. So part of the...
Now you work for someone.
Part of the prize, the con, is he get to work with us. And same thing, it was very hard to sell him in the beginning because most of his reel are all just like 15 minutes long short film. And he doesn't have ads reel. So what we did was very simple. Any job that I have at that point of time, I just co-direct. I get him in, and then that becomes his reel as well. He do everything a directors do, right? It's just that I am there every time for meeting. I am there to talk to the client most of the time. I'm there to do most of the presentation. But of course, during the presentation, it will be like, all right, this part I'm going to leave it to Chan because he's the one that come up with it. For example, the background story. So, okay, Chan, you present. And then when the client got a question, Chan try to answer. And of course, as a mentor, I also help out with the answer.
I feel like, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so because of all this co-directing thing, so he have about 2 or 3 jobs that's co-directing, and because of that, then when there was a brief opportunity to come, we straight away send, what does Chan directed before? So all these things that he has been co-direct can be part of his reel. So immediately that client said, oh yeah, okay, not bad, and then he got now 2 jobs under his belt now as his own director. Same goes with Jawaga as well. We co-direct most of the stuff, and when we feel like he's ready, and then he take on job on his own. So right now, again, he have about 3 jobs under his own belt. So co-directing I think it's one of the best strategy for me to bring up juniors.
Okay it feels like just hearing it from you feels like a bit of relief also cause
I think you should do because and to co-direct my role also was like thank God. For example, like at 10 p.m., 11 p.m., the wardrobe stylist sending all these options. They're like, hey, which one you want? I was just like, ask Chan, choose 2. Chan, you filter the 2. While I'm still like, carrying Oliver and like, So a lot of things right now, I don't even need to answer on the WhatsApp group because Chan and Jawaga take care of it. As a co-director, what I need to do is, when the final internal meeting before I face the client, I filter one more round. That's it. But also you gotta trust them. You gotta trust them to make the decision.
I think what you just said really like this is the main issue, right? Not. I mean, it doesn't have to be a production house. You can be F&B. You can be any kind of industry, right? Like for us, we all experience it at different intensities where your clients will come after the founder. They will come after like whoever did the studio, right?
The Gordon
Ramsay. The problem will always happen like when you want to try and scale, right? So when you want to try and like move up, the problem always happens is they don't want anyone but you. So you suddenly become the bottleneck, right? Because whether they like it or not, they don't know who the other person is. And I think this is always the tricky part when it comes to, like, even for us, like, I think what you just mentioned, we were able to do it with this new guy called Matt as well. So he took on, I mean, the liberty that we have is our content is very split into two verticals, right? One is completely just our original content, and one is clients know that, whatever they want, they'll get. So Matt and Brian have the servicing for clients, and what we found that really works as well is, especially one of the recent ones that was a bit tricky, where the client insisted, like, Brian said, "Ming Han, you got to show your face." You really got to show your face, No. The Maxis one, I got no choice. That one you want to talk, one leg kick, that one really, I one leg kick, everything also I one leg kick that one. But it's more like having the guy on board, and even though, like, what to do or what not to do, is letting them do it, right? And sometimes it may cost you the job, sometimes it may not. But I think that's the tricky part, right? If you really want to scale, because I remember having this conversation with people. The initial mistake is trying to create a copy of yourself. Because it's impossible. There's no way you can create a copy of yourself. Because if you can, that person will probably have his own studio also by now. So right, it's how do you pass on different elements of yourself, but have that second person fill in the gaps with his own stuff, right? And co-directing, I'm sorry for anyone who's not in the film industry. I don't know what your equivalent of co-directing is but it definitely helps a lot because, like, for one of the projects, Matthew took the lead, and I really, really just show face on set. But that is the dedication you have to have, right? You have to sit through it. You have to be there. You have to manage the client. You have to, once in a while, I mean, if there's something like that's fundamentally wrong going on, you have to call it out, But I found that actually works so much better. And now, like you said, Matt also has his own, portfolio already, which in turn does him very well. Not to say that he's stupid to begin with. He was amazing already to begin with, right? But I think that's a really good thing. Like, I mean, the next point we were supposed to talk about was sales. I mean, let's just be honest. We all know where the sales come from when it comes to production. So, because I'm more interested in what we're talking about right now, which was, I mean, if Brian is okay with it. Right?
Actually, I wanted to add on to a point where, like, let's just say a client gave you this amount of budget, thinking that, oh, okay, Derrik gonna direct for me. But you propose to me a junior director. How do you approach where
the client
like want to maintain the budget but junior director?
I have to say directly, it's like I just have to, like, sweet talk them lah. So basically, it works a lot of time where sometimes, like what you say, right, Ming Han, like, your role is just there, sit through the meeting and whatnot. So that is pretty much what I did, and that budget, I would say that you know what, I'm just going to co-direct. During the client or the agency have pretty much no clue, except for the agency AV producer, because those are the one that we had the closest relationship with. And then we say that upfront, we say that, hey, can this junior director comes in and be on board of this one?
I will be overseeing also lah. You have
I say I will be overseeing. Then that's when we show up in meetings, client really don't care. Client really don't care, like, who else you have on board for the project. The only thing most of the time I get from a reaction is like, wow, so many people in the meeting. Like, wow, so many people.
I only thought it's supposed to be two of you. How come?
I thought it was supposed to do you, the director and the producer. Wow, so many people. I say, most of the time I'll start off with, we want them to learn.
It's true. It's true.
So most of the time after the presentation, I have to open up the presentation lah.
Right.
Once things get a little bit steady, then I think I mentioned just now, I leave sections of the presentation for whoever is going to be on board, whoever co-directing. The sections. But the main thing that the client really wants to know, and the client have most of the question that I know the client will attack on, I will have to present. And then I will have to also, this one is between you and your junior. You really got to understand each other a lot.
You hear the baby?
No, not really.
Okay.
So this is between the both of you. You really have to understand each other, so that, because oftentimes if you don't understand each other, when the client asks a certain question and how you want to give the solution, right? Because you're the mentor, right? So you got to answer it in a way that it doesn't disrupt my junior's idea. If not, he will feel like, that's not what I want to do.
Correct.
Right. So beforehand, most of the time, before we see client, we do really got to sync up our alignment. We got to tell them this is most likely the client will attack this, they will ask this. Do you have an answer prepared? What would you want?
Yeah, that's really part of mentorship, you know. It's a whole different dynamic in how you talk to your team, being on the same page. You know, don't try to screw each other in front of.
Correct.
Because there are some teams that I will put you down so I look better.
Yeah.
You know, so you trust me more, that kind of thing, right? Yeah.
So most of the time is I will just try to. I ask a lot of questions. It's like, because I know 80% of this deck is not done by me. Right, so I was like, okay, so this is what you mean, this is what you mean, this is what you mean. Okay, I open up the presentation, all right, and then I will always point it. I remember just very recent, this job got postponed because of the MCO but it was supposed to be Chan to direct. So client asked me certain question, I would say that yes, Chan prefer this.
Yes.
I said Chan prefer this. It's Chan's initial idea to have this. I always put that in my mouth so that the client gets it. This is Chan's job, not me. I'm just here to supervise.
Yeah, I think that really happened the same way with Matt as well, where we were doing this very big job. And ideally, it does come down to a few different skills, right? It's not just the fact that you need to assure them that you're part of it, but I think also we need to assess not all directors can present. Right? It's your presentation and your communication skills as well. So I would say that yes, on set you might be an amazing communicator to a crew, but you might not be the same amazing communicator to a client, right?
Yep.
So I mean, there's all kind of things, but definitely being alongside the co-director is a big deal. I think it and if any of our clients are watching, right, the whole budget thing, I really feel there's a very different way to approach it. I feel it's not that we don't want to change the price. It's the fact that the same budget can be used now even more to make the end content, which is really what the client cares about. It makes it look better. This full stop, right? And at the end of the day, that's basically the deal. Because it is also true. If we're not getting Derrik, doesn't it work like a hairstylist? The senior hairstylist don't cut hair, then the junior hairstylist, technically, it's not the same at all.
It's not really the same.
It's really not the same. So, we just want to put it out there. But maybe that's a really good thing we should dive in on another
how to mentor.
Yeah, I mean, how to mentor, what the price breakdown and what money is actually used for, and so on and so forth. But maybe just pivoting right now, like, how you mentor and how you deal with clients. We're talking about branding and marketing right now, right? We are going to talk about it right now. What do you think your brand message, or what stands out about you guys? And how do you get found? You kind of talked about it just now a bit, right? We all need that one moment of like, boom, right? But now, how do you make it into a brand? How do you continually try and
the lucky thing about the big break and also our spirit and also our brand is basically we are always that challenger.
The underdog.
The underdog. The challenger, the underdog. And that's when we do a lot of things that we feel like this is probably our last job. Our last our last good reputation job where we had to give it all in and we had to do it differently always. So most of the time is a lot of things that we share all right. That's when branding there is also, I think, a good 60% of the things that we never share.
Of course. Okay, maybe we should just put a bookmark here for everyone watching. There's tons of jobs we all fail. So because I think the minute you say that we must do things differently, right? People kind of assume, wow, everything you do different, people love.
Right.
No. Most of the time it doesn't happen that way.
Yes.
Most of the time you gonna shoot down like, sorry, we chose another team for this job because the client don't want different. Just want people to know a lot of clients don't want different one. Just saying.
So that's what we do with our brand So anything that we put up is when we feel like, yes, because we did things differently. There are a lot of your typical 15-second, 30-second pre-roll YouTube ad, the one that you cannot skip.
Yeah,
Really
yeah,
typical, maybe just one person there, putting the deodorant or whatever.
yeah.
Nothing fancy about it. And you know what? You never upload. We were just like, those are the pay the bills,
Yeah, yeah.
fund the company, and so on a branding side, we always want to like show people that we can do things differently. We can do things. We can push the boundary. We can adapt technique that is different. We always want to push that side of Graph Studio. But having said so, because we do all these things differently, we can also do things, in a normal way lah.
I mean, we should just set that baseline there, okay?
Yeah.
Everybody, we all need to do normal things.
Yes.
Okay? I don't think I know any studio 99% of the time do different things.
Yeah.
It's just not possible.
It's just not possible. That's why it's just a whole brand and marketing thing lah. It's just something that we put up for the people who actually see our work that they do things a bit differently lah, So how do we do things differently is we often again inspired by Corridor Digital, Film Riot, every day we look at shitty rigs,
Yeah.
So how can I, even there are sometimes we actually DIY rigs so that we can try to achieve that shot.
You are preaching to the same kind of crew, dude. We DIY a lot of nonsense thing ourselves, but it comes out the same.
Yeah. So that's how we convince the client that, you know what, because this particular brand, this particular message, you need something different to really spark things up as a talking point. So for example, I remember this is still one of my favorite jobs for Samsung, where I was given an open brief, like do whatever you want as long as it goes in line with the tagline that do what we can, right, together. Wow, I was like, oh my God, this is the opportunity. So I ended up doing a Zoe trope with 12 Samsung phone. So each phone has an image where I just spin the phone, and then you spin to a certain speed where your shutter speed capture, then it looks like an animation, right? Like the Zoe trope thing. So Airbnb does it, and I saw a couple of references up on YouTube, and then I proposed, can I get 30 phones? I put 30 frames, all right? Or 25 frames. Can I get 25 phones? And I put one picture at one phone and I just spin it. And it looks like an animation. And clients say, wow, I love this idea, but I can only give you 12 phones. I said, I'll take it. I'll take it. So again, this is something that is different. Like, again, a lot of people would think that, but the idea is not new. Again, it derived from someone who already done it with animation, frame-by-frame animation. It's just that how can I adapt it to the phone? How can I use the phone to show animation, this and that? Yeah. That we try to, the lo-fi innovation. We are not as good as OK Go, where everything involves coding and digital and whatnot. Of course, that's the end goal. And ultimately, you will try to use all this technique. I myself is a practical effect kind of guy. I love shooting miniature. I love stop motion. I love camera effect.
Yeah. Anything that doesn't involve heavier post pro.
Yes, correct. Yeah. So that's always the thing that I will always propose to my client when the brief is fun lah. But of course, on the other side, I'm also a kind of heavy sucker for
VFX.
For VFX. So I think it's Jawa who influenced me lah. So he keeps showing me all this cool VFX stuff. And at the same time, I also like all this Disney. Especially now I'm a dad. So at the end of the day, it's all about variety lah. If you can show to your client that you can be versatile, and then that's a good thing. But there's also a downside to being versatile. People cannot recognize your work. So yes, Graph Studio is all about being versatile, being diverse, being again different, challenging, the challenger brand and whatnot. But we never really had a signature look.
I think the more you say this more and more, it just feels like, okay, for the longest time, Brian has always asked me, what is TMT videos? Because you need to understand, right? Like you guys, I think our funnel is even smaller for the YouTubers. The immediate comparison is Genie Boy, right? I mean, and Jin, we also talked about it. I mean, we know that people put YouTubers in one kind of box over here. And Jin has taken the tag of the Malaysian YouTuber. So where does that leave me? No, and like you said lah, like we want to try everything. Our mindset over branding. So it's like the craft over like your name, right? As a craftsman, you want to do everything because the more you do, the more solid your craft, right? The more you take. But from the eyes of the audience, it's like, today try this, then today try that.
Yeah.
It's like no consistency. Like for example, very simple for our genre is one day you do short film, another day you do comedy sketch, another day you do vlog, right? So technically you don't have a brand because you're trying everything.
Yeah.
But compared to like, let's say someone like Jin who specifically writes on, I want to make good Malaysian content, right? So there's a very different factor here because when you opt for, like you say, versatility and flexibility, you opt for this, your net very big lah, basically lah. But you catch all kind of fish lah. So people don't know what kind of fish you sell lah, you know.
Ikan
But
bilis.
for someone who like only fishes one thing, right? I think this is a personal choice at the end of the day, right? Like what you want to become and what you're
sometimes when you do this kind of thing, right? Eventually the brand builds itself.
Yes.
So for me, a lot of people brand graph studio are, if you want to do music video, you go to them.
Yeah. So that's a very interesting thing because like it's like I think we're still in a market where the audiences are very pocketed. So like one pocket sees me as the McDonald's boy, like my brother and me, right? Like we are like I need the lut guys, and like they don't know anything about TMT. And another pocket is like, you guys do the short film, right? And then another one is like, you guys do web series, right? So I think, like you said, we at the end of the day, do you think it's better to worry about what you want to make or worry more about your brand?
For me, I told my producer, I don't want to be skewed to a single genre, a single style.
Right.
It's very dangerous. I hope none of my client actually hears this, but but the thing is, I reached a point where I felt, wow, another music video.
Again.
I
just want to say, can you all hear this? He don't even make one every week. Can you please understand for YouTubers? Every day make the same thing. You can go crazy on. Okay. Just saying. Okay. Thank you. Anyway, continue.
So even though it's I tell you, if I get the opportunity to do another video, I will jump on it because I can do a different music video than a previous one. I will try to do that lah.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's also music video. Then what about the side that I can actually tell heartwarming story, right? I want that side. I want people to know that I can do that as well. So, so you choose. For me, I'd rather not being stereotyped to do a singular type of style or content. I'd rather not do, because why? I learned from one of my favorite brand, One Republic, right? Or Linkin Park. How much kind of backlash they get when they start changing their music style? Remember, not like they're not doing right. They're not doing that usual
Maroon 5. Lagi.
Yes, but every time you hear the artists explain, right? Every time you watch the documentary, you hear the artist explain. It's like, they don't want to just do the same thing because their audience grow as well. So for me, I felt like I think I cannot just do one singular type of genre because I feel personally I'm growing. I have kid right now. And I tell you the number of kind of heartwarming script that gonna inspire me because of my kid grew tremendously. I'm such a sucker now. If I so want to shoot kids right now, like. But,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, but the thing is, I didn't have that when before I have Oliver. All I want to do was like, okay, I want to do cool music video, cool transition, that. But it's different. As a director, personally, I'm growing also.
Yeah, but isn't that I guess the bane of our job? Because maybe as a director I don't know whether it's the same or different but because on YouTube it's very personal, right? So it's so personal to a point where there is no filter between what you want to make and what comes out. And as a director, I was just having this talk with Brian the other day. because we're in this creative industry, right? And the product literally depends on you as a person. You are never the same person the next day.
Yes.
When you go through different stages of life, what you are and what you want to make continually evolves.
Yes.
So in this very tricky industry, how do you continually evolve your brand with you? I feel that is the big X factor. Because yes, some people want the McDonald's. Some people want the same burgers every day. That's fast food, right? But I think the biggest trick to any artist that has become a legend, right, is someone who has evolved past the effect of time.
Yeah.
Like JYP has a very famous phrase. JYP is that, the Korean guy who produced brands and everything, right? If you can make it past 10 years, you're a legend. Because it's true. Because in that 10 years, you will go through at least three to four different changes, and all your products will change as well. And like you said, now I'm a dad as well. I'm like, my passion to make family-based thing is so much higher compared to like, do I want to make 小弟弟小妹妹 content, like maybe once upon a time I wanted to make a lot of school content lah, but that's another dilemma that we face lah. Do we make what people want to see, which will eventually bring in the money, and continually, just take care of the business, or do we scratch that itch in our head and make what we need to make at this current time, which may not have any business, may not have any, what you call the 1% lah, the passion project.
I feel like based on the past few years I think if we keep doing the things that we want to do, the business eventually will come. I feel you lose some, but you gain new ones who are willing to want to try new things with you.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's more rewarding to gain those than to retain the old ones who never want to change.
Right. I think the small risk that we took was we stopped making TMT videos and we focused on core. But when I wanted to try, maybe I don't know how this might apply but when I wanted to try the family genre stuff, I didn't immediately put it into like the main shop. So I created another sub-brand and experimented there first. And you're right. The minute that starts rolling, you get a lot of people who are in that same place who want that stuff, and work will come on. Somehow brands will just see that we want that now.
Yeah.
More often than not, the client will always tell you they know what they want, but actually they don't. The truth of the matter is we as the creators need to continually make stuff that someone doesn't know that they want.
Yeah.
But suddenly when they see like that.
Yeah, that's how Apple does it.
Yeah. And everyone, they think they're a fluke, they don't know what they're doing, whatever.
I want the wheels, man. I didn't know I want it, but now I want it.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Brian? Why don't we maybe it's been an hour already,
Wow, time flies.
I guess before we wrap up, also I wanted to ask talking about what you really want to do and compared to what client wants, right? How do you juggle maintaining your company financials, juggling a team, and doing what you want to do, and whether if let's say a client comes to you, oh, I only have this much budget, would you take it if it's something that you want to do?
There's always a balance. Again, we have grown to a stage where every decision I make doesn't just involve my own time. Any decision I make right now affect the whole company. Like this brief is so good. I really want to do it. But because of one decision I make, everybody else has an OT. But let's say if to save money means we have to plug in more of our own time. Right? And then that's not a good feeling. I have reached to a point where I realized that I cannot just make decisions based on what I want, but also what the company wants. What's good for the company. So if let's say the budget is really too low, that in the end will make my whole all my colleagues all suffer, then it's not worth it. So this decision right now is quite easy to make already because we somewhat have a formulation for quotation. So you know that this duration of the video, we always base the code based on duration of video. So if this duration of the video really needs this amount of time, either you give us the time or you give us the money to, get more people so that we can get it done faster.
Yeah.
Right? It's always time versus money, right? So, so the decision I make right now heavily depending on can my team take on without excessive overtime, without excessive energy put into it. I cannot just be shock sendiri anymore. Last time when the team was just like 4 people, right? Everyone don't mind. Everything we say yes, even though when we don't make money. But right now, if it's such a difficult decision, I will often just table it to the team like, do we do it? Do you all want to do it? Look at the schedule. You sure you want to do it? You guys say yes. You all say yes one, huh?
We all die together.
We all die together. So at least it takes that guilt feel off a little bit. And again that feeling about one door closes, another door will open one. So I have learned to make that peace with myself that I cannot do every single job that comes our way. Even though it's a good brand, it's a good script, it's a good message, sometimes some things are just not meant to be. A very simple thing, it's for example like CNY, I'm sure festive in Malaysia are like Super Bowl in the US. Tons of job. I cannot do every single job during Chinese New Year. There was up to a point where my partner told me, if we take this job, we have to come back to start work on the 3rd or 4th day of Chinese New Year. Do you want to do it? Again, you know what? We better not do it, because the whole team has been busy for the Chinese New Year period. Let's not take it, even though it costs money. So the idea is, you just, as a decision maker, as one of the leader of the company or whatnot, you just got to really find that balance between making money and making your team happy. Sometimes I believe that happiness and that drive within the company is more important than that short-term monetary gain. Because I feel like if the team is happy, right, somewhat it's healthier in the long run. I learned that the hard way when I burn out every single one in the company, because I'm a workaholic, I'm like a workhorse last time where, don't have kids and whatnot. And my wife also was is still in the advertising industry. So I literally work 24/7. I sleep in the studio and whatnot. But I didn't know that some of my
cannot tahan one.
Cannot tahan. I drove them away by saying that if I can do it, why you cannot do it? I had that mentality last time. And I realized that not everybody are the same, physically or, mentally and whatnot. So I learned it the hard way. A lot of people that I like work with, a lot of people that I cherish, some are friends, that I still hang out. They decided to leave the company because they reached to a point that they just cannot take some of the workload. Not because they are not passionate about the industry, they just cannot.
It's the human limit lah. They are human.
The human limit, and probably their parents also make them.
Of course, I mean, forever in the studio is quite crazy.
Yeah, so you learn that the hard way, where you realize that it's spending money and no time to spend the money versus having good people around you. I think it eventually reached to that stage where I realized that people around you, having a healthy lifestyle conversation, it's a little bit more important right now. So I rather have a graph that grows like this than like this, but then later crash like this, So a stable growth line is way better than a steep one and then go down and then go back up again. It's like that is very dangerous.
I think that's a great point to make, because a lot of people now expect success within that time frame, right? And if it's not working out in the first few months, oh shit, maybe I should stop. But I think people just need to remember when you make a team, when you make a company like that, right? The goal is never short term. Like you say like one job might come in, the digits are like woo, but it might probably kill your whole team. And I've seen teams go through that because they chase the money of festive seasons. It's like you say that in Malaysia, the industry, what thing you want to be like at the prime of if the Hari Raya season, Chinese New Year season, right? Or even the movie making industry. So like most of the time or not, when you make that choice, you'll find that the next time you come back, the whole team different now. Why? Because someone made the choice to do a short-term success, right?
And not just that, when you exhaust the team, and when everybody decide to leave together, that's when your steep crash down. That is very drastic, So and that little gap there, it's going to cost your reputation as well
Yeah.
when
Definitely.
everybody leaves at the same time.
Yeah, no, you literally are highlighting. I'm pretty sure Brian knows the same example that I'm thinking of right now as well.
So once you go through that one time, I tell myself I never want to go back there, and that affect everything, because your whole team leave, you cannot take this job, you lose this job, and then you can and then the next thing you lose this job, there was no money coming in, and then the next couple of months, it's like a domino effect, like
Yeah.
it takes a while before you can build it back. So I never want to go through that moment ever. So I told my father, you know what, like from now on, whenever we make decisions for taking in job and whatnot, we really need to make sure that we have the capability to take it on. And at the same time, right now, we also, it depends. If your business is starting up, like I consider myself is still at the startup early stage, we will also engage more freelancer. So to keep again that core team, that your in-house team healthy and happy, by earn less, it's okay, but make sure that the team is happy, you get your work done at the same time, you earn a little bit less. So I have come to peace to make that decision right now, where most of the time we realize that this job, when we send in quotation, right, none of the job are approved, none of it is confirmed, and then we tell ourselves, first come first serve, this one confirm, alamak, the third one also confirm, how and that's when the third one we realize that, okay, you know what, we hire freelancer, we get external help, we get consultant, we get part-timer, whatever we can, so that the quality is still maintained. But we earn a little bit less.
I think that method now, unfortunately, I kind of need to wrap this up now because my turn for baby duties is coming up. I think that technique right now, which we can really apply to what the MCO is slowly doing to everyone, because obviously the economy is taking a very different hit. We also have tried our best to retain our team as much as possible. But I think in terms of expansion and how the future is going to be, that is something that we're looking into. Like, how do we keep the people that matter, but try and continually make business for ourselves? So, should we pivot to that right now, Brian?
Yeah, sure.
Like, what's the next phase? Like, Derrik, what do you think the next phase is for you? Looking at this interesting year that is upon us.
I think one really good opportunity that sparked from this pandemic is the opportunity to work remotely. That's number one, right? And all this while, a lot of job that we get because of budget, a lot of time that we collaborate and also do things within Malaysia. So right now, it opens up because a lot of idea and a lot of project will be skewed towards how can we reduce people at shoot, how can we do things as much as we can remotely, because that is like the main SOP right now. So that allows me to really opens up my collaboration effort internationally. Because I feel like the creative industry in other countries also are facing similar scenario right now. So right now, since everyone, my direction and where I'm heading right now is to opens up the border and start collaborating with everyone on the internet.
Since everyone's online now, anyway.
Since everybody's online now, since meetings are conducted online, since most post work are being done remotely, because I've managed to done it for the past this month. Everything that was shot was uploaded, was downloaded, was re-uploaded again, and then download again, and then so many times and now. But it's okay, as long as the work comes out, it's workable. The process is doable. You know what? Right now, I'm just going to open up. I'm just going to DM a lot of people from other country, and I'm going to expand my collaborative effort with people outside of Malaysia. So that's the first thing I'm going to do right now. Is when I get a brief, and if I need to propose people from overseas, I will propose right now. It's also an opportunity because of whatever happening. Their job also might be reduced tremendously also. So in terms of price point, we can negotiate.
So for anyone who is like thinking to copy Derrik, quote unquote copy, I would have to say that this, just from experience as well, right, is a great idea.
Yeah.
Which requires a great amount of skill. Because you need to
Planning.
direct the guy over there.
Yeah, but after done the Corona move and after done the Watson, I realized that if you are forced to do it, you can do it,
Yeah, this is coming for a talented person. I need to understand people don't have your kind of skill set and talent.
I was forced. It's forced upon me that I cannot get outside of my house, right? So I think
desperation is the best inspiration.
yeah, desperation is the best inspiration that it will happen. So right now, there are people in the Indonesia that I'm talking to that done tremendous artwork in terms of scribble and whatnot that we can engage. I realize a lot of things we don't really need to sit inside a single room and do. So I think for me, I don't mind sharing this idea because I want to see Malaysia work in totality increase its quality.
Right.
So right. So I rather the whole industry elevate rather than just one person stuck there and trying to change the whole industry. I feel like that's the way to go. I think in the future, let's open up the border and start collaborating.
I think as an end note, I find it very interesting what your idea of the next phase is, because that's literally what YouTubers do. The YouTubers online collaborate. The minute the MCO started, everyone started sending clips to each other.
Yes.
So it was almost like second nature to people online. But it's nice to see that you really stick true to the fact that you are some kind of hybrid between this because the biggest dilemma between the traditional production scene and the online production scene is the SOP and the structure.
Yes,
that is it, right? But I think this is something that a lot of people should start considering right now, because what I personally have experienced as well is anyone that can literally sit down at home and create your own content, that's where power lies right now in content creation. Even for our small team, because we have like an indoor studio, right? The minute you can internalize that, I mean, I'll be honest with you as well. Like, the reason why I think it's good to share ideas right now is because everyone needs some help. It's really not about who can do it better now or who can do it first, but we all need to survive right now. And the biggest hit that I think any industry is facing is definitely the industry that is not priority, is not necessity, and industry that's anyone who's a freelance industry, because nothing is confirmed, right?
Yeah.
I think we are very blessed to be able to say that we have our own team, we have a working structure somewhat, we have a clientele that trusts us and that comes back. But yeah, guys, I think that is it for today. Derrik, thank you for being so generous with all your opinions, man.
Yeah, man. Sharing is caring.
Ayo.
Well, I mean, as I mean, not just you. Just to close it off, that I think for the past year and a half, I've been also personally chatting with other production houses, directors, and producers. I don't know whether in the past they have done it as often as I do right now, where whatever work that I'm doing in the process, I also share with them. In return, they also share with me.
Yeah.
And I feel like this conversation is very healthy. It's like it helps me to do better.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an open critique session. I mean, not open, but just among the directors from different production houses, we DM each other, and I think this relationship is healthier than just like, oh, the fellow just come up with this, I'm going to do better and compete with him. And, and I rather see the whole, again, I repeat myself, the whole industry, the Malaysian advertising or in entertainment scene to grow together. And then we probably have more international exposure.
Yeah.
And everybody can benefit from it. Everybody can benefit from it when one person make a name. For example, if Henry Golding made it to Hollywood, right? It opens up to all other Malaysian talent who are, in the entertainment business. And people will look forward to like, oh, maybe Malaysia has this talent, maybe because Henry Golding is from Malaysia, I will look at your demo reel, like people
don't see the communal success.
Yeah, people don't see the communal success. But I feel that is better than just you're trying to strive yourself, you're trying to succeed within Malaysia and try to put everyone else down. I rather not do that. If I can collaborate, if any production house doesn't matter whether we are gaining for the same client or whatnot. If any production house at all message me, text me, say you want to do this together, then without a doubt I will say yes.
Yeah.
I won't withdraw. I won't withhold my idea. I won't withhold my opinion and whatnot. Even there are also some directors who sharing me stuff and say, hey, what do you think? I would say that this is how you will make it better. I would like this. Other people, all other directors share their work on the Facebook or on Instagram. I like it, I share it. I don't care. You know, doesn't matter YouTuber or production house. If you guys made an amazing ad, I will share. You know, Genie Boy makes an amazing ad, I will share. I want to elevate. I wish the whole industry.
I think this is the silver lining of what's happening right now, that we all really, whether we like it or not, we are forced to know that it's going to be very hard to make it on your own now. And I think to do this as a community, especially, there are definitely people in the production scene that even we are very blessed to know, like, you know, you, a few other directors as well. They're very open one. They hold nothing back. They share everything as much as they can. And I think this is the time where a lot of people need to know that I think during a pandemic, your ego matters much less.
Yes.
Just saying.
Not just much less, it's to
it should
zero.
Not be, it should not matter at this point, you know. Because it's no longer like, oh, you get named or I get named. No, we're all trying to live. It's survival at this point, right? And some more in an industry like the arts, where no country sees the arts as a priority, the only people we really have is each other.
Yes.
So until we really understand that, I mean, to anyone who's watching right now, we only have each other, to be honest. And the more we can make noise about each other, the better it become.
Yes.
So yes, good time to plug in. Go and watch the Corona Mu video right now. If you have, trust me, just search on
40 over people contributed. So that is like no better example when people come together and do something meaningful.
And it was really amazing. I'm very impressed of how you post production every image, every other shot to make it look so
like one project.
Like one project. I cannot imagine the amount of colors that you have to go through for your
edit. Man. Some shot with phone, cameras, all kind of cameras.
Happy New Year to you.
Phones.
Yeah, but good job on it. Go check it out, guys. Brian, do you have any closing notes?
I mean, thank you, Derrik, for coming on. I guess for people who wants to check your work out, where should they go to?
I guess the easiest is our Facebook, Graph Studio. I'm not sure. Graph Studio Malaysia, I think, if it's the address. And also Instagram a little bit. And most important, Vimeo. Most of our work that we like to share is there. So everything is just, I think, search Graph Studio Malaysia on Google. You can see a bunch of links come out.
All right. Thanks guys.
So much,
I guess we got to wrap this up.
Me.
Yes.
All right. Stay safe.
Yes. Watch your phone,
I'm using laptop.
Oh, sorry. Watch your laptop. Keyboard. Wipe your keyboard.
Yes, I wipe my keyboard.
Okay, very good. Thanks for everyone. Thank you for joining us. If you guys are watching, have a suggestion of what you guys might want to hear next, please message Brian. Hey, Brian.
Share this video so if you think someone may benefit from this talk.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
So Derrik, we might have you back one day. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yes, we should collaborate soon.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I owe you one. I really owe you one. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
I shoot until I saw already. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Take care. Be safe.
Bye.
Bye.